What if I told you that success, talent, or intelligence isn't enough? What if everything you thought about success was only half the truth? Here's the truth. Life, real meaningful life, isn't about becoming good at one thing. It is about becoming whole. We all feel it. Deadlines, expectations, countless roles to juggle. And often, we call it burden. But in reality, it is shaping us to become something greater. Maybe you're a student stressing over grades. Maybe you're an athlete pushing through every practice even though you are very tired. Or maybe you're this person who scrolls at night comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reels. Think about it. What's your pressure right now? Grades? Expectations? Family? Or yourself? We often see pressure as a weight that drags us down. But in truth, pressure is proof. Proof that we are trusted. Proof that we are capable. Proof that you are being shaped into something greater. Because as you see, diamonds are shaped under pressure. Champions are shaped under pressure. And great leaders rise under pressure. So the next time you ask yourself, or maybe you feel it, don't ask, why me? Instead, ask, what is this shaping me to become? Think about it. When was the last time you felt pressure? Anyone? When was the last time? Earlier? Yesterday? The other week? Right now? I can feel you. Did it push you down or pull you forward? Forward. Well, I can say this because I used to chase achievements, academics, pageants, journalism, sports, leadership, and many more things, as you can see. But in that way, they even called me the jack of all trades. Well, at sometimes, I view it as an insult. The master of none, but oftentimes better than master of one. But I chose to redefine it. I became the mark of all trades, growing through every stage. Not simply chasing achievements, but embracing growth through every stage of my life. Because being a jack of all trades isn't always negative. Being jack of all trades isn't about being lost. It's about being limitless. Versatility is not a weakness. It is strength. We must view it that way. And let me ask you once again, how many of us here have ever felt pressured to be perfect at just one thing? Anyone? Well, the truth is, true belonging isn't found in perfection, but in the courage to become everything you are capable of becoming. At the end of it all, I ask myself, what mark do I want to leave behind? Not just trophies or titles that gathers dust, but people who felt seen, who felt valued, who felt inspired to rise. And maybe you ask yourself too, what mark do you want to leave behind in this world? I don't just want to be remembered as the Mark who is a jack of all trades. I want to be remembered as the Mark who believed that growth is not about perfection, but progress. The Mark who left behind not just achievements, but a generation ready to lead with empathy, courage, and humanity. That's the Mark I want to leave behind. But another question. Have you ever felt empty after an achievement? Well, I did. After all the trophies, all the titles, the applause, I broke down. Even after all I had done, I still felt empty inside, thinking I was failing everyone. The worst, I was failing myself. That breakdown became my breakthrough because at a single night, I discovered something essential: holistic development isn't just important, it's the foundation. And I learned this lesson not in a classroom, but in a community where we teach children through a project immersion we called Project Gabay, empowering youth, cultivating growth, transforming lives, guiding advocates for betterment and youth empowerment. On our first days, we began with the basics, teaching values and helping children with reading, writing, and numbers, because the children is our future. But we didn't stop there. We taught health and exercise, explored creativity. Through Project Gabay, trees were planted, a living symbol of growth, cleaned libraries, held coastal cleanups. And we ended with what mattered the most: leadership training. Because we didn't just want children to learn, but cultivate youth who will someday lead this community. In that community immersion, I wasn't the only leader. We all became leaders. At first, we thought we were there to guide them. But in truth, in reality, they were guiding us. They reminded us that leadership is not about ego, but empathy. Not about performance, but purpose. Not about recognition, but transformation. We realized success isn't just about grades. It's about mental health. It's about knowing when to rest. It's about supporting each other. And I wasn't the one speaking anymore. I was listening. I wasn't being awarded. We are being awarded. And I was serving. From leading with recognition to leading for transformation. Leadership became less about proving who I was and more about becoming who I can be. Of course, I didn't suddenly turn into some monk overnight. I still forget to drink water, still stress about deadlines. And yes, I still rehearse in the mirror and gave podcasts to my shampoo bottles. But here's what I remind myself every day. Pressure is privilege. It means I am trusted. I am growing. I am being shaped by the weight I carry. Growth doesn't mean perfection. It means progress. When I embraced a holistic way of living, something clicked. I wasn't just helping, I was healing. What I learned personally also confirmed by science. Global health and education leaders, including the WHO, emphasizes that school must prioritize well-being alongside academics. A major meta-analysis of social emotional learning programs found they improve academic performance by over 10%. The message is clear. When we nurture the whole person, mind, body, heart, and soul, we don't just create better humans. We create better people who will serve in the future. And when this grow together, we don't just succeed, we thrive. We don't just lead, we inspire. Imagine classrooms where compassion is as important as computation. Imagine leaders who don't just rise, but lift others with them. Imagine a world built not on burnout, but on balance. That's the world I dream of. Imagine. And it begins with us. So don't wait for the world to give you a sign. Don't wait for opportunities to come. Create them. Be the change you are looking for. Because you cannot build a better world without building better people. And you cannot build better people without nurturing every aspect or every characteristics they have. So I ask you once again, what is your pressure? Grades? Family? Expectations? Yourself? Here's what I want to remind you. Don't run from it. Don't let it crush you. Transform it. Because pressure is not punishment. It is potential. If you are wondering where to begin, the answer is simple. Start with yourself. Heal what hurts. Grow what's weak. Protect your peace. Because the more whole you become, the more impact you make. And that's the kind of impact the world needs. And don't be afraid to fail. Because mistakes increase experience. Experience decrease mistakes. If you learn from your mistakes, others will surely learn from your success. So let it begin with you. Let it begin with us. Because the world doesn't need perfect people. It needs those who are real enough to stumble, strong enough to rise, brave enough to heal, and kind enough to change the world with their humanity. So the next time you feel pressure, don't see it as a punishment. See it as a potential. Because pressure is a privilege. And when we embrace it, we become limitless. Thank you.